Hi there. Let's explain what is virtualizations. In IT, virtualization is like allow us the creation of a virtual representation of physical desktops, network servers, storage, and other virtual machines. So this is the idea that we have like a hardware that we can have like the same uh, operating system or other resources that we have like networks or data storage applications that we can run it in a different environment with different configurations on the same device. So we have one device and we put different kind of operating system on top of that. So we virtualize this hardware, and then we have different kind of possibility to use that for different purpose. So virtualization is the process of creating like a virtual representation of the physical resources. Like we have desktop servers or storage accounts or like storage devices that we can use, networks, the switch, routers, we can also virtualize them. And it allows multiple isolated environments to run like on a single hardware systems. So each machine operates independently, running its own operating system. Like let's take it a virtual machine, so it will be running its own operating system. Like we have Windows, beside that will be like a Linux, another distribution of the Linux can be running the same time on the same hardware, and each operating system can run also its own applications, and these applications will not know that there's other operating system running beside on the same hardware, because they are totally isolated and have no access to each others. So but they will share the same physical hardwares. So this minimize the technology efficiency of hardwares and ensure better return on investment. So let's say you buy a really expensive hardware, but you cannot use, like if you install one operating system, that you cannot use the total the resources that this provides this hardware. So but if you virtualize this hardware, then you can use like with the full efficiency of that hardware, and that makes also more efficiency. There are like virtual machines and hypervisors. So the core concept of virtualization is like mostly virtual machines, which in short they say VMs, and also we have hypervisors. So let's say we have a hardware, and you run an operating system on top of that, and then there is another layer in between the virtual machines that you can use and the hardware. So that is hypervisors. So hypervisor manage the connectivity like the virtual machines which is running on top of the hardware. So this is the layer which stays in between of the virtualization and also the hardware. So a virtual machine or a VM is a software-based emulation of a physical computer, and each operates like an independent computer. So running its own operating system and applications, and they have a multiple VM we can have on the same. So they are the VMs that we have, and we can have multiple like 10, 100. It depends on the uh, resources that the hardware provides. So you can have like one, two, three in the same personal computer, or you have like a server which has like more RAM and more CPU, so you can run 100 of virtual machines on top of that. But the hypervisor or virtual machine, it monitors the software layer and manage the VMs itself. So this will be like the manager to VM all these virtual machines on top of this hardware. And we have a different type of hypervisors. So the first one is like they call it type 1 hypervisors, and this type 1 hypervisors is directly comes on top of the hardware. So it's the another name for this one is like bare metal hypervisors, and it don't need any operating system that you have to install on this hypervisor to create more VMs on top of that. So but the type 2 hypervisor, which this one is, it has like you have the hardware, you have to install an operating system that could be also Linux or could be also Microsoft Windows, and then you install these tools for virtualization. Like we have VirtualBox and we have like VMware, but there are many more. So they are the two most used ones that you can find. They are also like offer free versions that you can install and use it without any license. And then on so they will work like these two technologies on top of the operating system, and then they will inside these tools you can create virtual machines which you can then use it for different purposes. And there is also one step ahead if you go more, like virtual machines, and we have containers. So with the hypervisor, we virtualize our hardwares. So we have like infrastructure. Let's take a device, you have a server. On top of that, you install an operating system, and then you have a hypervisor to create different kind of virtual machines and different operating system we install on that. And then you have also different kind of applications which is running on that. But if we want to virtualize an operating system, then there's a better way. Instead of like installing these tools like VMware or VirtualBox, you can use containers. So they are lightweight and they are fast to start and to pull down or start them again. So it's really fast and really small. They don't need so much resources also, the way like the other tools need. So you have an infrastructure, you install an operating system on top of that, then you need another layer. So this layer is different from the hypervisor, but the container engines like Docker you can install, and there are also others like container this daemon. You can install these tools, and then you run containers, which each container gonna have its own libraries and the application code on top of that. So this is the big picture of virtualizations, like the containers, VMs. We can have also storage virtualization, network virtualization. You can take your single virtual machine, the physical switch, and you can virtualize it to different sections. And the same you can do also with the routers.